Thank you for tuning in to the Royds Review podcast. This week, Robb and Andy have watched and written songs about Jurassic Park. Will their music make the dinos dance, or will the Royds be ripped apart by raptors? Find out next on the Royds Review podcast.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Royds Review podcast. We are the Royds. I'm Rob.
And I'm Andy.
And we are here today to talk about Jurassic Park. This is a pretty fitting movie for us to do on our very first podcast.
I agree, considering our smash hit album, Roid Rage, is filled with dinos on the cover and on the back.
Dinosaurs everywhere. Dinosaurus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means.
I agreed.
We're off to a good start.
I agree.
So thank you, everyone who's tuning into the Royds Review podcast. If you're not sure how this works, let me tell you. So we are the Royds. We're a band from Long Island, New York, and also Delaware now, a two-state operation. And we watch movies. We're going to watch a movie each week, and then we're each going to write a song about it. And you, the listener of this great podcast, get to decide which song was better.
Yeah. And we'll review the movies, talk about them in depth. I mean, as much as we can, considering we're not film critics, but we like movies. You like movies. Let's talk about movies.
Let's talk about movies.
What are we doing here?
But this is also a great challenge for us as songwriters because it challenges us to just write about things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a great exercise for us. But our first movie, as we said, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's kind of, we're kind of building up to the release of, what is it called? Jurassic World Dominion?
Jurassic World Dominoes, Hot Wow Now.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, the Noidosaurus.
That's a reference. Few will understand.
No, they're going to get that. That's good. That's timely.
Well, I have not seen the last Jurassic World that they made, but I've seen all of them up to that one. And they're all pretty good. But the first one, I think we're gonna talk about it, but I think we all know this is the best one.
Well, that's the thing. We're getting into the original, the OG Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And there's a reason this movie is held in such high regard.
Yeah.
And this is one of those weird movies to review 30 years later because it's like, how much can you say about Jurassic Park? What can be said about Jurassic Park at this point that hasn't already been said?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to see some Dino Dick.
Same.
That's the first reference to Dino Dick we're doing in these Jurassic Park podcasts. You can keep account at home. That's one.
First of many, for sure.
That's one Dino Dick.
Before we dive in, what's going on with you? How you doing?
I'm good. Doing my thing, writing songs, trying to do my comedy. Rob Hall and the Double B Band.
Check it out. On the YouTubes.
The YouTube, last year's Robbie Summer Vacay, which one person called disturbing. How about you? How you been up?
I'm good. I recently purchased a PlayStation 5.
Big spender.
I've had little to no time to play it, so that's cool. It's kind of like I'd spent $500, and that's it. That's what happened. I just dropped 500 beans. Haven't done anything with it, so that breaks my heart. Let's move on.
All right, that's what you got to do. You got to spend money to do nothing with it. That's adulthood.
That's it.
That's called being an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, thank you so much for listening. If you want to send us some feedback, send us an email at RoydsRevue@gmail.com. That's RoydsRevue@gmail.com.
You could also find our music on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your music, by searching The Royds. That's RoYds. We have 2 albums and a Christmas song. Hope you like it.
All right, so let's dive into this.
Let's do it.
let's dive into Jurassic Park. So we know what happens in Jurassic Park, right? The Looney Tunes, they team up with Michael Jordan.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We watched the wrong movie.
Oh, Jurassic Park. Give a synopsis of Jurassic Park. All right, they bring back dinosaurs. There you go. There's your synopsis.
So I just found out I watched Snakes on a Plane by accident.
That's a problem. This is becoming a problem. Neither of us watched Jurassic Park.
All right, let's start over.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, we're going to go watch Jurassic Park. All right, and we're back.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, that was really good.
Way better than Snakes on a Plane.
No, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what was funny in the first scene is the close-up of that guy's mouth when he's going, shooter, shooter. That shit is hilarious. But it's also like still building tension. Like it's still exciting. It's just funny and exciting, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, everything with the Raptors was so well done. There's a scene in the book that they don't have in the movie that they address in the movie. They allude to it when they talk about the Raptors testing the electrical fencing in the cage. They actually did that in the book, which would have been a really cool scene in the movie. But because they went with so much realism and animatronics, I don't think they would have had that same effect.
Right. Oh, look at you reading books.
Yeah, I'm a big fancy boy.
Big fancy book boy. This guy's reading books. What, they got words in there?
Yeah, they got words in those books.
Oh, man, that's pretty cool.
They got all the words in those books. They got words like the, and they got words like and they got words like Pachycephalosaurus.
Wow, you got the whole spectrum.
Yeah, the whole spectrum of words.
Wow. So, I hadn't seen the movie in a long time, and like I grew up with the movie, like we all did. But like, I don't remember that first scene at all. So like when it opened with that, I was like, what's going on? Am I watching the right movie? And then it was like, oh yeah, there's a raptor in there. So yeah, this is definitely Jurassic Park. But like, I don't remember it opening with like a horror kind of thing. And I enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, it was funny, but I enjoyed it. But like, then when they go to, I remember it opening with when they're in the sand and they're doing their dig, and that kid says like, "That's not even scary."
It's like a 6-foot turkey.
Yeah, Alan Grant fucking rips into this kid for saying that dinosaur is not scary.
He definitely cuts that kid's dick with the claw.
Yeah,
he definitely cut that kid's dick off with the claw. He's like, "Hey kid, you just lost your dick to the fucking raptor.
How's that for scary, huh?"
Yeah, you like that? You like not having your dick and balls anymore?
But it's like, has Alan Grant ever been a child? Like, why do you not see that that's just a kid being a kid? Like, he's like, "Oh, you don't think that's scary? Let me tell you about that thing."
Well, like,
I'll tell you everything about that thing.
It's so overly protective of velociraptors.
Yeah, like, what is wrong with this guy? This guy's weird.
That becomes a weird theme throughout the entire franchise of movies where they have this weird connection. They're like, "I love these dinosaurs." Yeah. And it's like, all right, chill.
Yeah, like, they didn't exist until we brought them back. So, like, I don't know. I mean, they existed before. I don't actually, I'm taking that stand. I don't believe in dinosaurs. So
you know what? We're going to end it now.
I understand.
But yeah, he goes so hard after that kid just because it's a child asking questions. It's like, all right.
And then his girlfriend, Laura Dern, I forget her name in the movie.
Ellie Sattler.
There you go. She's like, "Hey, chill." Like, what are you doing? That's not how we interact with children.
You just threatened to slice that child up with a velociraptor claw. Why don't you relax, Dr. Grant?
Why don't you take a couple minutes? Compose yourself.
And of course, we meet John Hammond. They come in. Mm-hmm. John Hammond, first of all, what a dick.
I love him.
Oh, love him. What a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like drinking
opening someone else's champagne.
Yeah.
Ruining the dig site. But did you catch the newspaper on the refrigerator when they first meet John Hammond?
No, I didn't.
It says, aliens stole my face. There's a newspaper taped to the refrigerator. It says, aliens stole my face. I had never noticed that until this watch through.
Do you think they're alluding to aliens in Jurassic Park?
I think it's just supposed to show some sort of craziness.
Oh my gosh. Well, what if John Hammond is an alien?
No, I don't think that's the case.
I'm running with it. Well, he says he'll fund their dig site for 3 years, right? Like all their research. And they're immediately just like, all right, cool. But like,
well, no, I get
like
that.
My first thing would be like, can I get that in writing? Like, I don't even know you, my dude. You just rolled up here, you ruined everything, and then you're like, I'll throw some couple $1 million at you. Hey, why don't you get that in writing so I can sign it?
I mean, I feel like that would have made a much more boring movie if you went through the legalities of it. I feel like if there was like a half an hour scene of them working out the contracts, we would have been like
calling their lawyers.
Yeah. Gennaro comes in now. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm going to be honest. I understand your problems with it, but I'm glad they didn't put that in the movie.
Everybody's talking about Steven Spielberg like he's some sort of god, but where's the paperwork? That's all.
So that's the stance. That's the hill you're going to die on here.
You know what? I'm over it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they get to the park. We meet Dr. Ian Malcolm. First of all, here's one problem I do have with this movie. Why do they make Alan Grant look like a fucking moron that he can't figure out a seatbelt?
Yeah.
Like, I understand it's supposed to be foreshadowing for what's to come later with the two female sides of the seatbelt.
Yeah.
But you hear Hammond and Sattler being like, no, you're doing it wrong. He's like, I just can't figure it out. I'm a PhD and I just cannot fathom how to buckle the seatbelt.
And they allude to that with like computers too. Like he's like, I don't understand these things. It's like, it's very clear what that's doing. It's very clear. It's showing an image and then he touches it and it like goes all buzzy. He's like, what did I do? And they're like, you touched it. It's like, and he's like, me and computers, I'm an old fashioned guy, but like this is a seatbelt. This thing been around for like at least 20 years at that point.
I mean, it's literally been a law to wear a seatbelt by that point for 30 years.
Yeah.
And for him to sit there struggling with it and then I'm just going to tie it. It's like, okay. Yeah, I understand this comes back as foreshadowing, but he does have a PhD.
Yeah, and I think he's supposed to be unlikable at first because like he's not very likable until later. And even then, it's like...
well, he's supposed to be the gruff, tough guy with a heart of gold.
Yeah, and like... I don't like kids, but then at the end he's like, I love these kids. Spoiler alert, by the way. This guy loves those kids.
Well, I'm also happy because in this first movie, it actually makes a ton of sense. And as we get on to the rest of the franchise, the movies, the premises of them make less and less sense. But at least here, it's like, yes, there's absolutely would be interest in dinosaurs. I understand why the billionaire would allow his grandkids to his park. Because as we get into the further movies, they start to shoehorn kids into every scenario.
Yeah. Because they're like, I worked in the first one.
But at least here it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this movie, like all my complaints so far have been absolute bullshit. Paperwork, that's bullshit. Shoot her, it's funny, but like it's still a great scene. Like this movie is a solid 10 out of 10. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like everything about it is great. And that's why all my nitpicking is just for the sake of, in quotes, comedy, because it's really up to you. But that's what, like, while I was watching, I was like, I don't know if I got a lot of funny shit to say about this, because this movie is hot fire.
Well, that's the thing. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah. I mean, borderline perfect. As perfect as a movie about dinosaurs can be.
Yes.
I do like that everyone trips in the movie.
Yes.
Everyone at some point trips and falls.
Yeah. Even the old man on the stairs.
Yeah, they're always tripping and falling. No one can maintain their footing in Costa Rica.
Maybe I'll wait till we get to that point in the movie, but I have a question about Samuel L. Jackson.
Hang on to your butts. Let's get to him. This is around the time we meet him.
Yeah.
He's there with Wayne Knight.
Yep. Always with a cigarette in his mouth.
It's very
is
1993.
Very, very. Wayne Knight is also perfectly played in this. Just like as soon as you see him, you know, like, okay, this guy's an asshole. And they allude several times that he is broke, right? He's got financial troubles. So that's why he's doing this.
Well, is Wayne Knight one of the unsung heroes of the 90s?
I think so.
I mean, you have him in Jurassic Park. He was in Space Jam. He was in Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
He was in so many other things. I think he was in Third Rock from the Sun.
Wouldn't know about that. Never seen
But Wayne Knight was such a fixture of the 1990s.
Yeah. I mean, he's clearly very good at what he does.
He also
Like a
plays an
manic-
amazing asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a manic, borderline psychopath, especially in Seinfeld. Like, great stuff. Always a pleasure to see him. The movie does an exceptional job at like building all the small problems to a head. Like all these little things are going wrong throughout, like while they're at the park. And like, it's just very subtly, like subtly ratcheting the tension. Like even when they're watching like that little cartoon, and which is just like an exposition dump, but it's also interesting.
Well, it's the best character of the movie, Mr. DNA. I'm Mr. DNA.
That's the best character of the movie.
That's the best character in the movie.
Oh boy.
You don't think so?
I mean, we just talked about Dr. Ian Malcolm. I mean, this guy's great.
That's true.
I also like John Hammond a lot.
I mean, I
think
love that John Hammond is a bumbling fool.
Yeah, I also think he's a sympathetic and relatable character because, like, first off, I'm a billionaire, right? As we all know. But like, you ever work so hard at something and then like it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, and you're just like convincing yourself over and over again, you're like, this is it. It's good. This is great. This is how it's supposed to be. But like, he just like, even after some people are dying, he's
is this
like,
a metaphor for marriage?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Like, even after people are dying, he's like, well, maybe this, Disneyland had some problems. And like, Jeff Goldblum's like, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, like, the pirates don't try to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, dude? It's over. And it takes him to like the end of the movie where he's like, yeah, this is fucked up.
Well, yeah, when he says, I've chosen not to agree to your park or whatever. Endorse your park. Yeah, me neither. So have I.
Yeah. Like, I felt bad for him, even though, like, it's all his fault. But like,
when that scene,
I don't think his intentions were bad,
Well, yeah, that scene with Mr. DNA, when he has his lines against himself.
Yeah.
It comes across very much like Michael Scott from The Office. Like, that's something I could see Michael Scott doing, is making a video where he'd interact with himself and then miss his first line.
Yeah. And he's hired scientific minds who are clearly very good at what they do because they accomplished it, but they couldn't maintain what they said, like all the females, and then they found the eggs, which means there's some dino dick out there.
Oh, that's two.
You know it.
If you're keeping track at home. Now, I wonder, because I'm not really an expert on how frogs are made.
Right.
All right. But are frogs one of those animals that like nut on the eggs?
I don't know.
Because I wonder if like you're just having dinosaurs walking around like nutting on each other.
Just hoping for the best.
Well, that's because the reason the dinosaurs were able to switch sex and procreate was because they had the frog DNA inside of them.
Right.
But I don't know how frogs reproduce, because I know tadpoles, but yeah, I don't know if like dinosaurs just walking around, just, coming on each other's eggs.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we can only hope. Like, I'm trying to see some dino dick, trying to see some dino nut.
All right, this is off the rails.
Much like the Jeep
Nice.
in the scene with the T-Rex.
I feel bad when they put the goat out there every time.
Same. And then it's just sitting there in the rain, just waiting to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel, I think you're supposed to feel bad.
Yeah. Well, Steven Spielberg's a monster.
Just absolutely horrible,
like
man.
at the end of the day of shooting, he walked up to the goat, he capped it right in the head. He was like, "No, this goat's gotta die. It's for the realism."
For the realism.
Yeah. They're like, Steven Spielberg, you are a psychopath, but man, can you make a movie?
We'll allow it this time.
But like I was saying, the subtly, like the things subtly going wrong, like they allude, they're like, the Jeeps they're running on the car battery alone. That's a problem, but we'll fix it when they get back.
Right.
And boom, serious problem. Oh, those plants. You have those plants out there just because they look pretty, but they're actually poisonous. Boom, dying Triceratops.
Well, didn't they say that wasn't what the dino was getting sick from?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because they didn't find any of it in its poop.
Oh. So what is that like? Was that something that was supposed to carry over to a sequel or something?
I have no idea. That's what I feel like I remember them saying. I feel like they were just like, oh, there's no lilac in its poop. There's no lilac berries in its shit. We're going to walk away from it.
Yeah, and then they just
because she was just like, Sattler was just like, I'll hang out with the doctor.
Huh.
And then that was really the last we heard from that Triceratops.
Right. I know that when Wayne Knight dies, and he drops the shaving cream with the all the DNA in it, and then it gets buried in the mud. That was supposed to come up again in the sequel. I know that the sequel, we could talk about it more next podcast, but the sequel was supposed to be way different from what it was. And it got like rewritten and all this stuff. And Steven Spielberg was just like, I just want to make this movie. Can we just make it?
Well, and then, this and the sequel are the only two based on books.
Right. But I know that the can was supposed to come back.
Yeah, but even the sequel, like the second book, was just written because the movie did so well.
Oh, is that true?
And they told Michael Crichton, hey, we need another Jurassic Park book.
Did he just do like, I'll just do King Kong?
I mean, kind of.
Because that's what they did in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like half that movie's like, oh, this is pretty good. And it's like, oh, it's just, now it's King Kong.
It's a monster movie. Well, that's the thing. These just become monster movies.
Yeah. But that being said, the T-Rex scene is so good.
Yeah.
It's just like, even when with the glass, like the water in the glass, iconic. And then like she flashes the light in its eye and its eye dilates. And then it
feels real. It feels real. Like this is real life.
And the CGI holds up. Like when it's not an animatronic at night, in the daytime when they saw the big brontosauruses, that didn't age that well. Like, okay, that's clearly a 90s computer generated image.
But you know what?
It doesn't look bad.
That CGI, I see that in movies today though. So you're right. When you see it now, it's like, okay, there are certain movies that are better. But I'm going to be honest, there are movies I watch today that are big budget Hollywood movies that CGI is just as good as that.
Right.
Or just as poor as that. There were scenes in Black Widow from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Where the CGI was just as bad as that.
Yeah.
Or a lot of scenes in the Justice League movies where the CGI was just as bad as that.
Yeah.
So even though, you're right, you can tell now, I think that holds up among movies today because of what they were doing.
Yeah. And I think the T-Rex scene works so well because it's at night and it's raining. So I can hide a lot of the that's clearly a CGI, but it looks great at night, and it's also setting a tone like this is scary. I'm scared. And I love that when it flips the Jeep, it starts digging into the bottom of it like it's another dinosaur.
Yeah,
because that's what you get the underbelly. I thought that was very cool.
Get those innards.
Yeah, but you gotta get up in them guts.
I love how desperate Ian Malcolm is here for spotlight, though. There was no reason for him to light that flare. No
Not at
reason
all.
for him to run.
Yep. Like,
And that's where we see the T-Rex eat its first victim, the
Yep.
lawyer. The perfect choice.
yeah. As soon as I saw that guy, like even when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this guy's dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This guy's dead.
In a movie like
Dead
that,
fuck.
the lawyer has to be one of the first like characters to die.
Right. And even John Hammond refers to him as a blood-sucking lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's great stuff. And yeah, like Alan Grant had that covered. Like he was like, all right, if you don't move, can't see you. So I'm gonna he's going after the kids. I'm gonna save the kids. Like he threw the flare and it went after the flare. So it was like, okay, the day is saved. And then Jeff Goldblum's like, ah, look at me, look at me. You fucked it all up.
But I also love how many of these people try to treat dinosaurs like dogs. Chase it.
Yeah.
You know, Dennis Nedry tries it. Alan Grant tries it, where they're just throwing things, hoping the dinosaur is going to go chase after it.
Yeah.
These aren't golden retrievers.
No. Well, unless you count the golden retrieverosaurus,
Ah, yes.
the much elusive.
So elusive, they haven't discovered it yet.
One could say I just made it up.
Horrible. I would never believe that. You would never do something like that.
You're right. Also, there's a scene before the T-Rex scene when Ian Malcolm is talking to Laura Dern about chaos theory, right?
Mhm.
It's very flirtatious, right? And she's like all in on it. She's like, yeah, all right, he's a good looking guy, yeah. And Alan Grant just bounces. And like, he leaves for a different reason. But in my mind, it was like, ah, shit, Jeff Goldblum's hitting on my girl. That's the end. That's it. I got to get out of here. Can't compete with that. Look at him.
Well, yeah, he's the rock star. He's being all
Yeah.
cool. He's 6'6" or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Super tall dude. But it's
I'd
also
kiss him.
like, if some dude was doing that to my girl and she was like, yeah, I like it. I don't care that she's trying to just play it cool because she knows she's smarter than he is. It's like, why don't you chill with that? Why don't you,
Yeah.
I'd at least tell the guy, hey, why don't you why
Yeah.
don't you knock that off?
Like, I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm in front of you. You may not
Yeah.
see me, but I can see you.
Very rude. Very rude dude. Very rude dude with an altitude. Well,
I do like that Gennaro not only hid in the outhouse, but then for some reason also decided, I'm going to sit too.
yeah. And he stayed sitting on the toilet, and that's where he died.
Just sitting on the toilet. Like, what was
I
the
would've
point in
tried to,
sitting?
like, because he was in there for a while.
Yeah.
I would have at least tried to sneak out the back or something. Like,
I would have done so. I would not have stayed in that outhouse.
no.
Well, we move into the daytime. They're in the tree. I love the scene in the tree because that also looks real. Everything they did in this
Yes.
movie looks and feels real. And I think that's one of the benefits that a movie like this has with a small cast, as opposed to movies like all the Marvel movies. They're so much more unrealistic, even though they're basically as realistic as Jurassic Park. But there's so much more, but a movie like this is so much more realistic because it's only a few people. You feel that fear as opposed to, oh, the world's going to end.
Right. Right.
So when you have that scene of a car in a tree, it's like, oh, yes, people have crashed into trees like that before. That's very legitimate. Not all the fear came from the dinosaurs. There was suspense
right.
from other things, which helped keep the dinosaurs out of the movie at times.
And I think a lot of that is due to they use a lot of practical effects. So like that was a car in a tree, and like it was in a controlled environment, but like I don't think there's any CGI in there. Maybe like some branches or whatever. But like,
I do love Alan Grant when he holds on to the kid at the bottom and he just knows where the hood of the Jeep is going to fall, so he hides under it.
Yeah.
All these movies just make everyone an action hero.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Which is part of the problems from this movie to the second movie, where Ian Malcolm goes from this douchebag rock star, where he's like an action hero in the second movie.
Yep.
He's just this badass. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, hey, didn't you get your leg broken in like your first action scene?
The first time I saw this movie, I was like, he's dead. And I think he dies or is supposed to die in the book Jurassic Park. And then they brought him back in the sequel because they were like, we need a
cool guy.
Yeah. A protagonist or an antagonist. I don't know which one's the good guy. I think it's protagonist.
Yeah, protagonist.
Yeah.
I always think of it like pro, good, and antagonist, anti-bad.
Because you hate ants.
Yeah, I don't like most of my ants. If you're listening, you know who you are.
I was talking about the bugs.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I have several carpenter ants in my family.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Jesus Christ was a carpenter ant.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Every day's a school day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a teacher.
That's
Every
true.
day would be a school day.
Not every day, not summers or Saturdays.
Or weekends, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found this interesting. When they go to see the Triceratops, Alan Grant acts like an excited little kid.
Yes.
And he doesn't like kids. Yet these dinosaurs are bringing the kid out of him. I just thought that was an interesting juxtaposition, you know?
But yeah, he loves dinosaurs. This is a man who loves dinosaurs.
Right.
And that's what's great is you see that throughout the movie, especially when they hear, oh, we have a T-Rex. You see how excited he gets about that.
Right. Yeah.
As horrifying as it is, he's still excited.
Yeah. And when they see the brontosauruses, when they first roll up, he's just nutting. He's nutting his jeans.
He's like, oh, I gotta
change
change now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he turns his girlfriend's head. He's like, check this out. And then she's like, And then it's just they're like, we're gonna hose out the back of this Jeep.
I also love how when Sattler is holding that plant, her reaction is so subdued of, this shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's her first thing. This shouldn't be here. The first line out of her mouth when she picked up that plant should have been, this is an extinct plant.
Yeah.
Well, that's odd.
What is this doing here? That's funny.
But we're moving along. They see the Velociraptor get born. We meet Henry Wu.
That's right. Yeah.
Henry
Yeah.
Wu, who is, love it that they brought him back for all
Henry
the sequels.
Woohoo.
Yes.
He's from Whoville.
Yes.
The Grinch.
Henry Wu. It's how the Grinch stole Jurassic Park.
Yep. It's a crossover of the century.
It's just a T-Rex just destroying all the Who's.
Yeah. The Whovilles are,
They're all
fun.
dead.
Yeah.
Cindy Lou Who, Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, all dead.
Okay.
All the Who's.
Now we're off the rails.
Yeah.
Now we're off the rails.
The Who. Speaking of dinosaurs, I'm just mean. I actually totally forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah. So we meet Dr. Henry Wu.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I bought Jurassic World Lego video game when it came out. And it came with a little Lego action figure. And for some reason, it was Henry Wu out of all the characters to come with.
I guess because he's in this one and he's in Jurassic World.
I guess.
Right? He's the only guy who's in.
I think he's going to wind up being
Jeff.
in the most movies.
Yeah, probably. Unless, I know the whole cast is coming back. The original cast is coming back for the new one.
Yeah.
Right?
Are they bringing back Jeff Goldblum's daughter from the second movie?
I don't know. I feel also the kids from the first one, they probably need work. I haven't seen them in anything since then. All right, so they get to that electric fence, right? After the whole car deal, right? And Alan Grant is like, I'm going to play a joke on these kids who have just been traumatized. They almost died a couple of times in the last few hours. And he touches the fence. He's like, he's like, nah, I'm just kidding. Haven't they been through enough, Alan?
I guess not. Not an Alan Grant. This is the man who sliced off a child's dick with a velociraptor claw. You think
I forgot who I was talking
had
about.
enough?
I forgot who I was talking
Alan
about.
Grant is a sociopath.
Yeah, clearly. He loves nothing but dinosaurs and children's tears.
Nothing he loves more than watching kids cry.
Yeah.
No, dinosaurs. He likes dinosaurs too. But children crying, that's his go-to.
That's him. Oh, okay. So here's my question about Samuel L. Right? So when Laura Dern, I keep forgetting her in-character name.
Ellie Sattler.
I'm gonna stick with Laura Dern.
Okay.
When she goes to turn the power on, and the raptor guy's like, "Clever girl," right?
Mm-hmm.
So when she's in there, she turns the power on. She's like, "I got it back on," and then bam, raptor, right? And she hits the wall, and an arm comes out, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. I forget Arnold."
Yeah.
Who is Mr. Arnold? Is he the raptor guy, or is
No.
he Samuel L?
That's Samuel L. Jackson.
So Samuel L. Jackson's dead.
Yes.
Okay, that clears it up. For me. Because I was like, whose arm is
Yeah,
it?
Ray Arnold. Samuel L. Jackson's playing Ray Arnold.
Okay. So where did he go? I forget where he went.
He went to go turn the power on.
Oh.
He originally went to go turn the power on, but the reason it was Robert Muldoon and Ellie Sattler, the reason they went out to go find him is because he was taking so long.
Oh, okay.
Because it was supposed to only be a couple of minutes to get to the other side of the compound, turn on the power.
Okay.
But
so
there
he
were
dies off screen.
Yeah,
okay.
He dies off screen, exactly.
All right, that's. I always thought like at the end of the movie, every time I watched it when I was a kid, I was like, what happened to Samuel L. Jackson? Did they leave him?
No,
he's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead as fuck.
Yeah, no, he was that is definitively him.
Unless
I mean, I don't know. Take a close look at that arm and tell me which arm you think it matches: Samuel L. Jackson's or the guy who plays Robert Muldoon.
Well, it's so quick and the lighting is so dim. So I was like, my first thought this time was like, oh shit, I think that's Samuel L. Jackson's arm. Because like for a while when I first watched it, like years ago, I was like, did those raptors kill the raptor guy and like bring his arm and like shove it through the wall to scare her?
So you
this
thought
we'll get her real good this time, guys.
You thought that was a plan by the Raptors to scare her the whole time.
I'll be honest, that's what I thought for a while until this watch.
I'm surprised you didn't hate the movie, because if that was actually the case, I would have been, this movie sucks.
Nah, it was great. They kept alluding to how smart the Raptors are. Maybe they're goofy too.
They just like to play a little goofs on people.
Hey, we're gonna goof this girl real good.
She'll never expect it.
Yeah.
She's gonna think it's a guy, but he's dead.
I also like how her reaction immediately, even though there's a raptor busting through the wall trying to kill her, like she feels the arm. She's like, "Oh, thank God!" Like you wouldn't be like, "We gotta get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you. Like,
well,
no, you should also pick that arm and use it as a weapon or something. Like she was like, I would have been like, "Oh shit, this guy's."
You would have been swinging it around like the game Medieval.
I was like, "Yo, this guy Arnold was pretty yoked."
I think they wanted to do more. I think they wanted to have more of Ray Arnold's dead body, but they were like, "That's expensive and gory, so we're just gonna go with an arm." But what I love about the scene where Robert Muldoon gets killed by the Raptors is it goes back to the scene where Alan Grant cuts the kid's dick off. Because remember, Alan Grant's telling the kid, he goes, "Yeah, you're looking at the Raptor straight ahead, but he's not the one who gets you. It's the ones who come from the side." And that's exactly how Robert Muldoon dies.
That's true.
He's watching the Raptor in front of him, and then he gets taken out. Clever girl.
No.
He's taken out from the side.
That's a good callback.
That's sick stuff.
Yeah.
That's why Stevie Spiels, him and I are good friends. That's what I call him. Stevie Spiels. He's a good director, I think. He's an up-and-comer. He's got a shot.
He tells me to call him the Berg. Yeah.
Call me the Berg.
Like, it's the Berg. I was like, all right.
Are you a bad superhero?
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm a good director. Well, all right.
Oh, okay.
Got me there.
Which is like a good superhero.
In a way. Well, so the final scene where they go to the place where
with the fossils, the visitor center.
Yeah, it's got like all the food. They're eating all the food.
I love Hammond just sitting there. Fuck it, I'm gonna eat the ice cream. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
It was like it was melting.
It's like, sit there, eat up. Go for it. Hey, if you think you're gonna die, why not?
Yeah, I get it. You're a sad guy. You're a real sad guy. I understand. But like, they don't get like 1 minute of peace. Like they're like, oh my God, look at all this food. Then boom, Raptors. Like, oh fucking Jesus Christ.
Love it. That scene is so good though.
Oh yeah.
The suspense they build with her hiding in the cabinet. I love the part where the Raptor runs into the metal because
the reflection. Yeah.
At the end of the day, as smart as they are, they're not as smart as people.
Yeah.
That's why they went extinct.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not why.
Remember, everyone dead is dumber than you. If there's one thing you should take away from this podcast, it's It's that everyone dead is dumber than you.
Dumber than you. Yeah, okay. I could get behind that. I mean, I think that scene once they crawl up into the vent, that is one of the first instances of the use of face replacement.
Okay.
So, like, remember when the I forget the girl's name, Sally?
I don't remember,
Her name?
actually.
Well, she falls out of the vent and Grant catches her and pulls her up, and like you see her face and the raptor jumping below her. That was a stunt double, and they digitally replaced her face. Looks pretty good.
That does look
I
pretty
did not know
good.
until I was told by the Berg. The Berg told me.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's great that he would tell you that.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Yeah.
You guys are close. I like
Yeah.
that.
One could say we're intimate.
I don't think so.
Well, you can't really prove me wrong, can you?
That's a good point. I'm going to call him. Let me call Stevie
shit.
Spiels.
That's right. I forgot you guys are buds.
Yeah, we're good friends too.
Shit.
But so now we're in the visitor center, and that last scene, they're facing off. They're running from the raptors.
Mm-hmm.
That dinosaur, that T-Rex barges in, and you see that sachet or that sign, the most
Yeah.
dangerous animal on earth, coming down. Absolutely iconic.
Yep. And then it's the roar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yo, maybe we should leave now. And that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
And like Hammond pulls up in the Jeep like just in time. And he's like, hey, I'm not gonna endorse your park. You're like, I probably wouldn't either. It's pretty rough stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That is a good idea not to endorse this.
And then they're on the Heckalopter, and the two kids they've chosen Grant as the guy they're gonna sleep on, signifying
Which
hey,
is
this guy
weird.
likes kids.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
their grandpa's right there.
I'm sorry. That's weird. If I was a relative of them, I don't care that he saved their lives. Like, why don't you not lay with my children?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd give him a pass on that one and be like, hey, thanks for protecting my grandchildren.
I
Like,
give him a pass on the scene in the tree. It's like, hey, those are kids. You're protecting those kids. But it's like, on the helicopter, maybe you don't need to be on the man.
I don't know. It's all right. I'll let you have it, but for the record, I'd be all right with it. I mean,
I like to
hey,
nitpick.
thanks, Grant. That's fine. That's fine. That's kind of what a podcast does.
Exactly. We nitpick and we bitch
Yeah.
about things we shouldn't bitch about.
Because like, if we didn't nitpick this incredible movie, we'd just be like, oh, this movie's great.
All right, let's get to it. Let's discuss our songs. We both wrote songs about Jurassic Park. We're going to flip this pick. I don't even know if this is being filmed, if we're going to put this anywhere. But we're going to flip this pick to decide which song is going to go first. Andy, would you like heads? Decide with the label on it, or would you like tails? Decide with nothing on it.
You know, I always like head. Right? Yeah, I'll take heads.
All right, let's do this. Let's do it. I'm going to let it drop. It is heads, so you're up first, unless you want the choice.
Nah, I'll go first. That's fine.
All right, so go ahead. Tell us about your song.
All right, my song is from the point of view of John Hammond. It kind of speaks to what I was talking about before, how he's a relatable and somewhat tragic character. And I will say I recorded with a click track, which I don't normally do because I'm not a professional. So there's some points where it's a little wobbly, but I'm fine with it. It's called Spare No Expense because that's, he says that like 7 times throughout the movie. And yeah.
All right,
I'm
ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Spare no expense.
Spare no expense. Electrify the fence. Get the best scientific minds to endorse this project of mine. There is no way that this can fail. Spare no expense, only the best. Now people are dying
expense. Only the best.
All right, I love it. Spare no expense.
Man, thanks.
I love how it builds throughout the
Yeah,
entire
man.
song. You just feel that build, the tension. It almost matches with the movie, the tension throughout the film.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's I recorded on an electric drum set, which is probably obvious, but I was having problems with the snare. It's an old kit. So I tried to write around that. That's why there's barely any snare in there. But yeah, that was the thing. Like when Rob came up with this idea for the podcast, this ingenious idea, if you will. I was like, all right, well, some of my songs are like, if we're writing a song in a week, it's probably not going to be like greatest. But like as I was writing this song, I was like, I'm kind of a bop. I'm kind of liking this song. So yeah, I'm excited to continue with this podcast because it's cool. Like just like pull creativity out of your ass, like because you have to.
It's the challenge of it.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's a challenging thing because writing songs isn't easy. And sometimes finding that inspiration isn't easy.
Yeah.
Which now that I'm saying this, we should work this into a promo for the podcast. But I like it. Anything else about Spare No Expense?
I liked that I got a little melodramatic. I said there's got nothing to show but this black hole where my heart used to be. Like, all right, relax.
All right, chill, John.
What is this, 2003? Because of emo. All right. That's all I have to say.
Emo Hammond.
Emo Hammond, yeah.
It's a shame there's no Hammond organ on it.
You're right. Throw it out. Uh-oh. All right. What do you got?
Right.
Robbie?
So, my song is called 15 Minutes. That's what I'm going to say, and then I'll talk about it afterwards.
All right. I'm excited.
I bring scientists, you bring a rock star. For all of these characters autoerotica. We don't really know just what we're getting into, but we're doing our best so we don't get sued. We are going for a ride. You know, doctor, you're gonna swallow your pride. Starts falling, now we gotta turn back. Everything is dark and we're under attack. Gotta eat the ice cream before it all melts. Earlier I tied a knot in my seatbelt. We are going for a ride. We're in a tree, we're falling down inside. Find a kitchen cabinet too high. The mathematician never lied. Don't move. Stay right there.
That was 15 minutes.
He put the Jurassic Park theme in there subtly. I didn't get it at first, and then on the second go around, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I did that. So if we ever actually release it for money, we'd get sued immediately.
Yeah, that being said, you're being sued right now. I work for the Berg.
Oh, no. Oh,
yeah.
This is a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I got drawn in. The first line the first two lines of the song are what I based the whole song on is I bring scientists, you bring a rock star. John Hammond saying that to the lawyer. Mm-hmm. And then the lawyer, one of my favorite lines in the movie when they're going through and they're in the lab and the lawyer sees all the scientists and assumes they're animatronics. And he goes, are all these characters autoerotica?
Yeah.
And I think that is such a subtle piece of comedy in this movie, which I think is ultimately done so well that there is so much subtle comedy. And Spielberg always did that well, is just adding that little bit of like, oh, there's levity in the movie. It's scary, but there's that brief moment of levity throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Because even when we talked about it before, Gennaro dying on the toilet, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I was giggling my butt off watching him get eaten by a T-Rex on the toilet.
Yeah.
And then the whole 15 minutes aspect of it comes from Dennis Nedry begging them at the coast, please give me 15 minutes. You got to give me 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he talks about,
in 18.
Yeah. So that's just kind of what I stuck with. I find, and then just parts of the movie that I could work into.
Yeah. He had a line about tying the seatbelt.
Yeah. And eating the ice cream.
Yeah.
So that's, again, we talk about the challenge, and that's was the fun part, is finding these inspirations or where we can write lyrics about Jurassic Park.
No.
And what's amazing is we didn't overload these songs about dinosaurs.
You're right. I didn't mention dinosaurs at all. I don't think you did either.
Yeah. So we wrote 2 songs about Jurassic Park, not one mention of dinosaurs.
Actually, no, I said the caged are set free.
Yeah, but you didn't say dinosaurs.
That's true.
You also didn't say
one rhymes with
dinosaur dick.
Yeah.
That's 3.
I actually did, and it's just super low in the mix.
Oh, you just threw it in. You buried it in the mix. I get it.
Dinosaur dick. Dinosaur dick.
Oh, it's a chant.
Dinosaur dick. Yeah.
It sounds like a 90s rap is about to start there.
Yeah.
My name is John Hammond, and I'm here to say, gonna play with dino dicks every day.
Yeah. That was the original draft, and I was like, let me do some tweaks, and it turned out to a totally different song.
Yeah, I think the one you did is better than the one dinosaur dick.
Yeah, we'll see. We got a couple more dinosaur movies.
That's true. That's true. Because we are reaching the end of this first episode of the RoydsRevue podcast. So, Andy, what are we going to do next week? Oh, wait, not next week. We're releasing these episodes at the same time. So what can they go and listen to right now?
Beats me. No, it's the Lost World. Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Starring Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore and Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
Sarah
directed
Harding.
By, who's that?
That's from the movie. He goes, Sarah Harding. And then Jeff Goldblum goes, how many Sarahs are there? Because they're on the island.
I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I've seen it like 1,000 years ago, but I haven't watched it yet for this podcast.
Everyone's disappointed.
Do you mean just you?
Yeah, but I'm everyone. I'm every woman, as the song says.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Real quick, thank you so much for listening. If you want to send us some feedback, send us an email at RoydsRevue@gmail.com. That's RoydsRevue@gmail.com.
You could also find our music on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your music, by searching The Royds. That's RoYds. We have 2 albums and a Christmas song. Hope you like it.
All right, awesome. All right, listeners, now it's up to you. Go to our Instagram page at The Royds and tell us which song did you like better. We're going to post them both. You can also find both songs on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the RoydsRevue podcast. We are The Royds. I'm Rob Hall. You can find me at Robert Corridor.
And I'm Andy. You can find me at Andy Jefferis, Jefferes, on Instagram. And you can find our music on Spotify. We got 2 albums out. They're both bangers.
And remember, go onto our Instagram at The Royds and vote for which song you thought was better, 15 minutes or Spare No Expense. Thanks, everyone. Tune in next time.
Bye.